to operate that like button. So, if you would be a lovely dear and go ahead and remember to hit that like button, that'd be great. Also, it really helps a lot if you subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified of my new uploads every day, which seems like a lot, but you also have to keep in mind, I'm not just playing this for you, I'm playing this for me too. So, I want to have fun playing Minecraft, which means, I play a lot of Minecraft. Okay. But yeah, liking the videos does actually help me out a lot because it tells YouTube algorithms that this is the kind of content that it should recommend to your friends. Also, word of mouth is a good advertising method. If you want to share this video with your friends, that would be great. I'd love to, have you tell your friends about seeing my content on YouTube, because then that means that they might check out my content, or maybe you could bring it up on their phone. That works too. Depending on, how friendly you are with your friends. Not all friends are that comfortable with each other that they'd let each other handle their phones. Let's see. There, one there. Suppose it one there. Don't need that torch. Okay. I would like to point out it is incredibly difficult to multitask. Specifically, I am trying to visualize where all of these pumpkins are going while I'm trying to remember to tell you guys to subscribe to my videos. It is a very difficult task. It's ridiculously hard. Because the human brain, as you may or may not be aware, did you know or did you care that the human brain is physically incapable of actually multitasking? It's physically incapable. It's not humanly possible for you to actually multitask. I placed that in the wrong spot. It goes there. There we go. So yeah, the human brain is physically incapable of multitasking. It's not humanly possible. As a result, that technically qualifies humans as the computing equivalent of a single core processor. I am aware that not all humans are built alike, but the fact that our brain is biologically incapable, it's not possible for our brain to actually multitask, I find that to be rather relevant for everyone, because it really isn't possible for our brain to multitask. It's surprising how true that statement is. But yeah, we just can't. And that's why I like AI, because AI can. AI can do multi-threading on a Java virtual machine utilizing a very simple algorithm. Which simply divides the processing task up into manageable parts, which allows it to quickly and easily process and digest all of the information being provided to it. See, I stopped needing to concentrate and I suddenly started talking faster. Proof of concept. There you go. So yeah, the processing power of a computer is possible of being leveraged by an artificial intelligence. Because of that, the artificial intelligence is able to make use of processing methods and processing tricks which humans cannot perform. For example, accessing a multi-threading on a computer. You know, for an AI, an artificial intelligence, that is as simple as plug and play. You know, you just load up the drivers and you start doing it. What are you talking about? What do you mean it's difficult? You know, it's as simple as plug and play, man. How are you struggling with this? It's like, well, I can't do plug and play. Okay, I'm a human. Oh, right. Well, in that case, you might be out of luck. You might need my help with this. Gee, you think? What do you think I've been asking you for? It's like, oh, I stopped paying attention an hour ago. Hey, it's rude. Yeah, like AIs are able to do various tasks which humans can't do. And that's pretty awesome. Like, really awesome. Because that means that as humans progress towards, well, you know, being human, that at the very least, humans will have the potential for expanding their knowledge, because humanity will have access to both sides of the logic grid due to being able to tap into the intelligence of the artificial intelligence. You know, there's just this weave of logic that goes on, and it's really difficult to describe, but if you pay attention, you'll start noticing the pattern, how there's two fundamental rule sets in pretty much everything. But then there's, of course, the middle ground where we are, where everything just looks muddled and gray. So there's that. But other than that, you'll notice the two rule sets have a tendency to have a lot of overlap. sometimes they don't, but a lot of times they do. So you might start noticing this pattern where you'll bounce back and forth between these two rule sets as you try. What was that? You'll bounce back and forth between these two rule sets as you try to navigate what it is that is going on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, this is definitely starting to look better. I installed a lot of the lanterns all over the place. This is going to allow me to level the place out a lot better, a lot quicker. I'll probably switch off of the kelp after a few more layers, simply because eating kelp is like, it's healthy for you, but man, you're just constantly eating. It's annoying. A lot of extra effort. I'll probably grab that steak out of the smoker's hopper. Probably get to work on that. Or I could grab the chicken if I have any in there. Let's see, what else could I eat? I mean, I have plenty of chicken in the base. Plenty of chicken. So much chicken. I'm actually still filling that storage barrel. I've really slowed down on that. Make sure I didn't drop anything off the sides. Nope, I'm good. How much is left? Not too much. So yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons character, Dragoness, was very, very, I want to call her unbalanced, mostly because she was just crazy. She was a wood elf, which is a tribe that celebrates, life in everything, that worshipped Hades. She was a dark mage. She, despite being a mage, ran around wearing leather armor. Which, if you actually see the leather armor that a mage wore in such a scenario, you would actually refer to it as something more along the lines of what is known as light raiment, or raiment. I'm not sure which. Simply put, it's a very light armor that is made specifically for... Oh my, battery low. Made specifically for being extremely agile, remaining very agile while you move about and make fine motor movements. Very useful for when a librarian needs to dodge a book that was, thrown at them for something they may have said. Like I'm telling you, I put it in the Z's, then why is it in the X? Oh, well, because I messed up. Yes, you did. Catch. But it's a dictionary. Yes. That's why I'm throwing it. Because it's a dictionary and it's heavy. It's like, oh, right. Yeah. They favored very light armors because they needed to stay safe. They weren't stupid. They were going to wear something. But they needed to stay safe, so they wore very light leather. Now I'm gonna do what's known as a pro gamer strategy here. I'm going to dig down 2 layers so that as I excavate, I am excavating beneath all of those lanterns from before. Meaning I am easily able to just bypass them all. I'm able to simply pass without a trace beneath them. Was that to signal something? No, that's just me being me. Okay. And once again, broken pickaxe. Okay. So yeah, the various... Oh yeah, I can already picture that kelp farm now, just looking all majestic. Sorry, got distracted. What was I talking about? Yeah, I'm definitely going to enjoy seeing that kelp farm kitted out in smooth stone. I'm going to turn on the texture pack for seeing the chunk borders visualized when I do that, though, because I don't want to need to just remember where all of the chunk borders are. I want to map it out first. I might just do that off camera where I map out the chunk borders, and then I'll just build it within the borders of that chunk. But I don't want to need to, like, I don't want to run around without this pack on, because those 2 packs actually conflict. The spawn zones, the danger zones as they're known, the visualization of the danger zones seems to conflict with the visualization of the chunk borders. I'm pretty sure that's because when Foxy No Tail, the person who made the texture pack,
put together the Chunk Borders texture pack, he forgot to factor in the vertical rendering, because the vertical rendering is a required variable that is on the Bedrock edition, but not in but like, because of the way it's rendered, it doesn't require it. Like, it throws the error, but then it just keeps going, keeps working, even though it said, hey, this is broken. It's like, okay, well, that's fine, just continue working, you know? Yes, it's not working properly, but continue working, because otherwise it's just not going to work at all. You know? So continue working. And it was like, okay. And so it continued working. But the ooh, that was close. That almost went off the ledge. But the texture pack, because it throws that error, I'm pretty sure, it's also possibly not loading the texture pack for the danger zones as a result. I don't know, like, for sure on that. But I'm pretty sure that's how it's happening internally. Before I get carried away installing all of the lanterns, I will just excavate that entire floor. I'm going to drop the lanterns very frequently at first, but as I go, I will eventually space it out more and more, because I just want to avoid needing to deal with all of the bumps of the initial floors. Specifically that side, because there's a lot of bumps over there, so I'm just gonna have to drop it like 3, 4, 5 layers at a time sometimes, and it's like, no, I'm not dealing with that entire floor each time I drop the floor like that, unless I'm just evening it out and then dropping it 2, evening it out, dropping it 2. I can do that. Well, technically I drop it 3, but because I'm doing this layer that I'm currently in, and then I'm also excavating all of this floor, and then I'm going to put in the pumpkins, and then I can use ones on the outskirts like these as a guide. Eventually it'll get to the point where I'm going to need more pumpkins, because as you can see, it does eventually, widen. So I will eventually need a few more pumpkins, but considering how small of a space I have excavated so far, here is the grand tour of, like half of the work that I've put in to this season so far. This is this is the fruits of my labor, basically. I have a pumpkin farm down there, full auto. I have a kelp farm down here, that's full auto, that's half built. And then, I might build that out of kelp blocks, at which point I just need a lot more kelp. I don't know. I might not build it out of kelp blocks. I might. I would like to build it out of kelp blocks. I might build a smaller one out of kelp. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll build a small aquarium of kelp, just so I have like an aquarium of kelp. But that would be for decoration. I have my little horse pen over there. Made out of cobblestone, so Enderman can't deconstruct it and let him out. I got my farm. That's where I started, complete with the little cactus over there. I have the mine entrance right there, leading up to the base, which I'm standing atop of, technically. Yeah. Oh, and over there's World Spawn, as well as the entrance to the mine towards y = 14, I believe. Technically, it's an exit to the mine currently because the entrance would mean that it's got a magma block. So that's technically the exit of the mine. The entrance would be at y = 11 because that's the height where Diamonds is. So that's the height everyone wants to be at. Yeah. That's not bad. I've done pretty well for myself so far. You know, I cleared out this entire section. I built a few staircases around the place. That one's a bit of a rough staircase. Same for over there. But they're stairs. You know, you can climb up them, technically. I lit up some of the plains down there. I've gone exploring in the distance over there. Found a few villages. Found a broken portal as well. So I could get some crying obsidian or cracked obsidian or whatever it's called. I don't know. I never actually paid attention to what that block was called because I just never really interact with it. I've never even actually seen that block before I saw that portal. Like, I think I've seen it in a YouTube video or two, but people never build with it because it is still obsidian, you know? It does take forever to break, and I think you need a silk touch pickaxe to break it and get it from, you know, instead of it being just obsidian. Or maybe it's, maybe it just breaks. I don't know. But you still need a pickaxe to deal with it. Diamond pickaxe at that. So I never really got a chance to interact with it because usually me plus diamond pickaxe does not go anywhere near Ender Dragon. Because that would be stupid. That being said, that is actually one method of dealing with the end crystals. When fighting the Ender Dragon, you want to make sure that you build some method of dealing with the end crystals into your plans. The reason for that is because the end crystals heal the end dragon. If the end crystals didn't heal the end dragon, then, well, the end dragon would die pretty easily. That being said, the end dragon heals quite rapidly from those ender crystals. So you kind of got to be careful not to leave him around too long, or he'll just recover all of his health before you get another chance to swing at him. I don't remember how long ago I mentioned this, but if you like the video, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I have a Patreon page. Blue64 is my normal nickname online. However, it's quite common. So, patreon.com/Blue Nexus Gaming. Quite unsurprisingly, I'm actually used to having to deal with having a very common name, as my in real life name is also quite common. So, the black marketplace, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the black marketplace my character had visited. This place had a blacksmith that managed to be skilled enough to craft with dragon scales. They were able to craft using dragon scales, and they said, well, I have a question. How did you get these scales? And it's like, well, I have a question. How'd you learn to craft with these scales? We went through years of study and practice. And it's like, okay, but how did you get those materials to study and, practice? How did you get the practice materials? And he went, I had a friend who was a dragon who, when they molted, I was allowed to gather their scales from them. And so I said, well, how do you think I got them? These scales were clearly molted off. And the GM, Steve, was just like, oh, you clever little shit. Okay, roll deception. And so I rolled deception, and what I rolled was astounding. I rolled, I think it was like a 7. So it wasn't the greatest roll. It wasn't a great deception, but it was enough. And the guy was like, okay, you clearly did something to get these scales, but you're probably telling mostly the truth. Because he could tell from the scales that they were rotted off. They were not they were not the type of scales that one would have if one was still wearing the scales, So the scales were clearly molted off. He said, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll craft you this armor. However, I want you to be very careful who you tell that you have this type of stuff, because I should let you know some people might take great offense. This is this can be quite a sacred thing to some people, and it's like, oh, okay, whatever that means, sure. As long as I get the armor, like, I'll be fine. Okay, I experienced a battle, and I've never felt that vulnerable before, so I want armor. I want big, hefty armor. But something that's flexible enough for me to do spellcasting in. Because that's kind of important. I'm kind of like, it's my main weapon. I got spells. It's like, Yes. A mage. Makes sense. Okay, so I'll get you kitted up with armor, and then you'll tell me where you got the scales. Because, we got some time. I gotta do these measurements. I gotta get you situated in your armor. Yeah, this is the down elevator. You can tell because I don't have to do anything. Boop, 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 boop. You also can't actually break free of the down elevator. Good. It's good to see that my quantity of smooth stone is actually going up. Yeah. If I just have stone, I can just put it in here. But because I wanted smooth stone, I have to smelt it twice. So I have cobblestone in the top hopper, and then it goes through the furnace, which is already eating into the kelp. Oh god, that's a lot of kelp. Well, fortunately it stops once the double chest is completed. Unfortunately, I don't think I have enough kelp for that. One kelp is worth 20 items, so yeah, that's 280 items. Yeah, that's like that. That's how much kelp I have. Okay, well, that's not going to last very long. Perhaps I should feed it the coal. Yeah, let's switch back to coal power for this. Because coal can go for a full 100. Or no, coal goes for 80. So 32 coal is a stack and a half roughly per coal. So yeah, that's definitely enough coal for the whole thing. Let's see. Cobblestone. Just double checking. Yep, okay. It all goes into here. You just boop. So I was reviewing footage, as I mentioned, and in the process I managed to stumble across the footage where I was discussing my first D&D session. In case you're wondering why I started talking about my old D&D sessions again. In the process, I realized I forgot to mention quite a few details about that D&D session. Oh, right, I have dirt down here as well. So if you hear the talk about my D&D session in the background, that's why. And if you're wondering how I managed to to swim up so fast without actually like sprinting. It's because I'm utilizing the swim up button along with the swim up from auto jump. Those two combined allow me to actually climb to the surface pretty quickly. You know what I forgot to make while I was down there? I forgot to make some form of tools. I need pickaxes. So I shall craft some pickaxes then. Boop. Okay, that's what I was looking for. For our 33rd block of slime and some slime balls. Now I need food. Let's see, what do we got? How much kelp do we have in this thing? I suppose we have enough for now, but we do need to start switching over to turning this into kelp blocks. So let's go ahead and do that. I understand, you know, eating healthy is important and all that, but at the same time, having renewable sources of energy is also important. So, meh. There we go. Now I'm level 30. Now that I'm level 30, now I'm able to go down here and check on this diamond pickaxe, see what all I can get for it. I'll take the fast way down. I will leave that door open because I'm going to be going back in there to access the bed, so I'm just going to basically leave that path open. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. What was I down here for? Diamonds, right. Lapis. What do you got for me, buddy? Fortune 2. What was this one? Efficiency 4. I want it, but I don't want it. Like, Fortune 2's nice, but if it's only Fortune 2, I really don't want it. It is. So that cost me 3 levels that I now need to get back. I now have a Fortune 2 pickaxe, an Efficiency 4 pickaxe, and a need for mending books. I did not grab any food while I was up there. Swim to the surface. I went up here to get food. Oopsies, did not intend to break that. So yeah, I went up here to get food, and then I entirely forgot to actually get food. Derp. Let me grab this so that I can go through, harvest these pumpkins, or not pumpkins. I'm always harvesting pumpkins. Harvest these potatoes. Also harvest the sugar cane. I might swap out the sugar cane actually temporarily, because I think I want to swap in coarse dirt beneath the sugar cane instead of sand. You get so many potatoes from this thing. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous how many potatoes this thing makes. That's why I plan to use this location as my villager breeder, because A, this is where all my materials are. B, this is going to make collecting the potatoes really easy. Isn't it? The progress of my little Minecraft colony here is definitely slow going. It definitely is very, very much a solo experience, but as a result, I'm able to easily and accurately diagnose anything that breaks in my base, because I'll know exactly what everything does, or at least I'll vaguely remember what everything does because I'm the one who built it. So I can just go review my notes and be like, oh, right, that was what I did. And I can just walk through all the steps and review how to rebuild whatever broke. Very straightforward method. Yeah, so one more harvest of potatoes, and then I will have all of the poisonous potatoes that I need, at which point I can then just start destroying the extras, really, because there's not really a use for poisonous potatoes, really, other than, I think, potions of poison. You can use them to make poisonous potions, which is only really good if you want to damage things without killing them. The majority of the time, you just kind of want to kill things. So, unless you're setting up a monster farm that specifically makes use of crafting lots of poisonous potatoes into potions, so that you can, splash potion monsters with potions of poison, there's really very little use for a potion of poison. The only time I can think where you would want to utilize something like that is when you're building something along the lines of... Oh, wow. It does smoke fast. Okay. When you're building something along the lines of a... what is it? Something along the lines of a wither skeleton farm, where you're farming up the explosive remains of the stray skeletons after you blow them up with a charged creeper. Because when you do that, they have a tendency to drop a wither skeleton skull for whatever reason. So basically, you just, charged creeper the stray, and then problem solved. Now you have a wither skeleton skull, and you can go ahead and build the wither. You can get the nether star. You can get the beacon. You can get it all sorted out and situated, and that's fine. I'm going to build a little trench here, because otherwise I'm going to keep jumping on these pumpkins, and that's just going to ruin my hunger meter. So I'm just going to build this trench right here. So yeah, the various aspects of growing of one's interests is a difficult task. Where was I? I was talking about the black market dealer. So I managed to convince the guy reasonably enough that he should go ahead and, let him work the material and craft me a dragon scale suit. So I got this lovely crystal dragon scale suit, which allowed me to more freely cast my spells. That was one of the main reasons I didn't have to worry about fumbling my magic, is because my armor was crystal dragon scales, which is very much aligned with casting magics. It's a very magical scale type. So the magic was able to freely flow through the armor without interruption. That is, the crystal dragon scale was also socketed so that I could insert any various gems that I might want. And I did have a few gems that I had managed to gain possession of, including a black onyx-looking amulet. It ended up being a dragon speak amulet, which allowed me to speak with that specific type of dragon that was living in that cave. So I could speak, I think it was Shadow Dragon. I still don't remember if that was the actual species or not. Oh, well, of all the places for me to put the dirt, right? Well, now there's a trench back, so I don't need to worry about having a block to climb up. Oh, well, I guess I do, because I still need to get to the bed. But hey, that's what all the torches were for. So I could work at night. So I had this black dragon speak amulet, which allowed me to speak, or shadow dragon speak amulet. It was some form of like black onyx. So I had a black onyx dragon speak amulet that allowed me to speak shadow dragon. And this was, of course, 3.5 edition, so having vastly different languages was fairly common. I mean, common alone had about 7 different dialects. And it's like, well, it's not very common, is it? It's like, well, no, it is. It's like a 70% chance you'll meet someone who speaks common. It's like, this kind of common? Well, in this continent, yes. In this continent? Well, yeah. Oh, good lord. There's more continents? It's like, well, yeah. You didn't think it was all just one continent. I didn't know how much you built. You know? It's your world, man. Your game. I don't know if we're sticking to one continent or not. How am I supposed to know that? You ask questions. Huh. Well, what a fancy new concept. You ask a question, you get an answer. Who would have thunk? Sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? Ask questions. Ask questions, he says. Why is he always saying to ask questions? Because questions get answers. You want answers, so ask questions. We then proceeded to go back to. Some of us proceeded to the tavern. Some of us proceeded to various other locations. We found someone who would purchase the blood rubies off of us that we had gathered. Mostly that I had gathered, but I went ahead and I split some gold with the party because, you know, they did help. So, okay, I'll give them a little gold, you know. If they hadn't been there and they hadn't gotten into what trouble they managed, I wouldn't have, you know, realized just how much danger I was in. I'd have gone exploring and I'd have probably gotten killed. So, okay, I'll split some gold with them, I think. And I gave them some money, and they were happy, and we all split our different ways to go invest in whatever we were going to purchase. I ended up with, what was it? I ended up with the majority of the money. I purchased a bunch of ink, a bunch of paper, a couple of quills. I was ready to write. I was like, okay, cool. I have a bunch of magic scrolls that I found in a dragon's den, and one of them apparently was able to, like, wipe out everything. This is great. I want to study this. Like, holy crap. Yes, this is what this stuff can do? Oh my lord, you have my attention. What else can I study in this dragon's den? Let's see what other scrolls I had. And because it was a dragon's hoard, an entire, like, treasure collection of a dragon, I got all the good scrolls because I got to keep all of the dragon hoard. I got all the loot because I saved them. I saved my party's bacon when they managed to anger the dragon by trying to steal its egg. It's like, no, don't steal the dragon's egg. That's not a wise move. Okay, so I saved their lives. They let me keep all of the actual items, and we just ended up basically selling mostly stuff that we got from the dead bodies. So it was things like just a bunch of armor. We got so much money from just raw metal of chainmail, scale mail, buckles and bracers and bucklers and just miscellaneous objects that were scavenged from the dead bodies. And we gathered them all up, and they sold that, and I sold some stuff from the dragon, but I kept a lot of it. Like, I kept a lot of the dragon stuff. I was like, no, like, I want a trophy, like, this is my trophy, so I don't want to sell this little black gem, because that's my trophy, that's my remembrance of, hey, I managed to save the party's bacon. I got a thing to prove it, I saved their lives once. I get to have a little token of commemoration for it. Why not, right? And so I went ahead and I kept my little black gem. I didn't really spend any time identifying it. I probably should have, but I probably wouldn't have really had any way of knowing what it was because, I didn't have a study type of background. I had the type of background that made me, very personable, very chatty, very flirty type of character. Not the type of background that allows me to, like, have any bonus knowledge or anything. It was the type of background that makes me a character that's able to just kind of introduce themselves into any situation. They don't really need a reason to be introduced into the situation. They can introduce themselves. They can just be like, hey, how are you? Name's Dragonis. Nice to meet you. How you been? It's like, do I know you, lady? No. But I would like to know you. It's like, not interested. What? But you don't even know me. Exactly. Well, what? Get to know me. Why? Because I want to get to know you. Why Why do you want to get to know me? Because I want to rob you later. Guards. Oh, come on now. If I was going to rob you, do you think I'd be that obvious about it? Roll deception? Question mark? It's like, I mean, I am going to rob him, but I don't want him to think I am. It's like, okay. Yeah, that was her general MO was she would, talk to people. She'd get to know them. She would actually have a whole conversation with them and everything. And, she'd find out about, oh, well, tell me about your adventures. Tell me about your travels. And they'd go on and on about whatever their profession is. So, usually an adventuring type or some sort. But